That's Mr. Tope serves as Group Chief Executive Officer at Answer Nigeria, where he leads the 5 companies of Answer Life, P&C Health, Investment, and One Health in the company's client strategy, experience, and engagement at all business lines. In this role, he continued to integrate technology, savvy excellence, and customer insights to deepen trust, strengthen market leadership, and deliver superior value to millions of customers. A recognized thought leader in health economics and universal health coverage. Mr. Tope advised government, development partners, and private institutions on building financial sustainable health care system. His expertise at the intersection of business strategy, technology, and implementation and inclusion economic development has made him a prominent voice in advancing healthcare and financial access across developing nations. Can we please upright and as we receive the representative of Mr. Tope Adeniji? Let's put our hands together.
Good morning, everyone. You can take your seat. I hope that standing ovation was for Mr. Tope, because I'm not man enough to receive it, so I deliver it to him on your behalf. Thank you. So, a brief overview about me. Sorry. Odunayo Rotimi, BSc Actuarial Science, Rotimi University, MSc Financial Mathematics from Ulm, Germany. My career progression has been about data analysis, data. Most served as the customer valuation lifecycle management in one of the companies during my career path. Currently, I manage the AI, BI, data and business data department of my organization. Thank you. So, pardon that. I'll do better next time. So, my current scope, basically, I use data to inform decision. One thing anybody will do that will hurt business this day is to make decision out of intuition or emotions. You always land in a pit, and your competitors will chiefly take advantage of that, because information is the most prized asset in this generation. I do some multiple experience in modeling. I lead automation. Initiatives. One thing I've come to discover is that an empire that refuses to expand will decay. So I'm engaged in some volunteering, which is teaching what I know about data analysis. Thank you. That's it about me. Next, what are we here for today? As you know, convener has already said that the aim and the objective of this gathering is aimed at bridging the gap between the industry and academia, which also was a burden for me while I was in school. I wanted to go the academic way, but I found myself saying that there was this disparity. Studying actuarial sciences, you study mathematics that helps you model insurance. So if I stay in the university or in the academia, there is that divide, and that prompted me to go for a master's degree. But then, what we'll be seeing today, we'll see from equations to economic impact. I'm sure one thing that is registered in the head of every mathematician is equations, equations and equations. But we'll see beyond that today. We'll see business reality in Nigeria, three high impact career paths for us, the skill bridge, since we have recognized the gap, and then we'll see building a career in Nigeria. I'm a fan of you must run abroad to make things. So I was abroad myself, studied there, but I felt my need was more in Nigeria. How do I mean? If I study abroad and stay abroad, I'm just one plus the numerous numbers they are. When I come back here, I am an addition to solving the numerous problems that we have. So permit me, if today I'm not talking about Japa, that's because there's no problem to solve for you abroad. You will compound our problems when you carry your expertise and sit there where you are not needed. So we'll see the future. And because I know there will be one or two questions, we have a Q&A session. So the business reality. Mathematics isn't about solving equations. It's actually solving problems. Equation is a formal, the problems we solve within the walls of the university is a formalized kind of problem. But when you get to the industry, oh, the problems are multifaceted. And so, one thing, I share one reality with you while I was in Germany. Almost every job application I saw, the requirement was there were two things that were reoccurring. It was mathematics and informatics. I discovered that inside that informatics meant information mathematics. So there was still mathematics inside the informatics, which meant if you will search online for 100 jobs, you are likely to come with applications requiring mathematics 75% of the time. That's because their belief is that you have solved problem in within the university walls, you can translate that into the business environment. So may I tell you, if you belong to the OA mathematics department, that you're on a very solid ground. So every business problem boils down to three things: risk, optimization, and prediction. So some statistics. We have 28 million jobs requiring digital skills by 2030, which means you will not want to do your traditional jobs the way they are being done in 2030, which means even the data analytics that I am majoring on will be a subset of skills you will need by 2030 to perform well on some roles. 28% of all African companies, all fintechs, 28%, that's more than 1/4 of every fintech, financial technology company resides in Nigeria. That tells us one thing. There's a good mine here of talent and resources. But also note that talents and resources, while we are creating solutions, we also create more problems. And that more problems also demand more expertise. That means this margin will only grow for the financial technology hunger that people have in Nigeria, have for Nigeria. But then it's not limited to that. It follows that mathematicians will be needed for things like cyber security, needed for optimization, needed for accessories. 36% of these people, they ranked in the middle of 2024, they ranked in the highest. So let's say venture capitalists, they fund technological companies, yeah? 36% as of 2024 H2, that's May 2024, we ranked 36% of influx of money from abroad to invest in fintechs. That tells you, if you have an idea, there's a future for Nigeria. So let's see insurance and risk management, where mathematics meets protection. As you can see, for the first time, Nigeria, do Nigerians insure? Can I ask you, do you have any insured property? Anybody? Yeah, I have an insured property outside your compulsory insurance. Yeah, that makes this 1 trillion naira a landmark. This, as of 2023, we hit 1 trillion naira, sorry, of underwritten premiums, which means people on their own come to insure. This also covers health insurance, property insurance, life insurance, but never before has that been. But then there's a problem. Less than 0.5% insurance penetration in Nigeria compared to Kenya, South Africa with 12% and Kenya with 2.8%. I know that we are far larger than Kenya in population, which means also if this is grossing 1 trillion naira and that we have not even scratched the surface, that tells you you can plan your life for the next 10 years, 20 years in this industry and you'll not be mistaken. So the opportunity is this. If you invest, the returns, the potential returns in the insurance industry is 1 to 20. That's if you put in 1 naira, you're likely to get 20 naira. But don't forget, don't blame me when you lose also 20 naira, because either must gain shall also be prepared to lose. Thank you. So the invisible mathematics of insurance. This they call actuarial science. It's just the name, but this is what they do. They do premium pricing. Premium is how much you pay for what you want me to cover for you. How much you we charge. There's a disbalance between pricing profitably to compete and making sure that you don't hurt yourself in the long run. So that's the question is how much should I charge? That's where probability theories and mortality analysis comes in. Claims prediction and fraud. Imagine that you have 10 claims from same mechanic or similar customers coming from the same location. Would that not raise suspicion in you? Yes. The problem is, yes, when these claims are, when they occur like 10 times a month, then you are smart enough to hold them. But when they are occurring in their hundreds per week, then you know you need sophisticated algorithms to track all of this. This disaster risk modeling, you can see 1,200 deaths, I think in 2024, 1.2 million displaced and 31 states affected. Lastly, portfolio optimization. How do we balance risk across every product, across every revenue line? That's a major question because the insurance industry is a highly volatile industry. In a multi-currency operation sphere like I work, what do? I work for a company who has many subsidiaries and the kind of exchanges they do might differ. One might be here changing Canadian dollar to Nigerian naira. Another might just settle on euros within a treasury. Another might just settle on pounds. In all of this, there's high risk. I mean, you know, Nigeria, the exchange rate today, in a moment from now, can change 3 times before the next 10 minutes. That's the environment business operates in. They want to make profit. That's where you come in. So let's proceed. Yeah. In Nigeria, as of 2023, you can see that figure 44.8 billion e-payment transactions. Can I tell you that before now, we have not seen central bank being able to churn out this kind of volume data. Before now, no. How is this possible? Technology came in and then everything is monitorable because there's a database in which every of the transaction goes. So we're able to monitor. In fact, the current tax is able to plan based on these microfinance banks. Do you know why? They have data they can track. So they can say in XYZ years to come, we can rack in this amount of revenue. That's technology. But then, do you know that that also brings with it problems? Fraud detection, it has to be taken care of. Credit scoring models, transaction optimization. Credit scoring models are simple abroad because they have this kind of integrated data system. But in Nigeria, I don't know if you check online, except LinkedIn, I don't know the information you can get about them. So if you can get little social media imprints of me, how would you get my credit scoring? That is where your own sense of modeling, your own sense of computation comes in. Let's continue. Let me skip this for now. We'll get it back. So, the common thread, please keep this. This is how our lecture will revolve. Optimization, risk, and prediction. That's the three things that any industry problem centers around. Risk, what do I stand to lose if I must gain? Prediction, can I predict under XYZ circumstance? How will my customer behave? And number three, optimization. Given my constraint, I know many of you are conversant with research, operational research. Yeah, this is where it kicks in. Given my constraint, how do I obtain the best loss function, the best fitting outcome there? Okay. Section 2, 3 high impact career paths for you. You have data science, artificial intelligence, and financial mathematics. Now, financial mathematics will cover everything you can do from Actuarial Science to anywhere. What do data scientists actually do? I know you have your own understanding, and the academia permits me to say what they do in the industry. What do they do? Uncover patterns in different data. I once worked for a payment service bank where each day's data, transaction data, can run up to 400 million data points. Now, with that, how do you manage that? Simple SQL query cannot do this to make sense of what's happening in the organization. And even so, every query you run on a database, do you know that there is cloud cost attached to it? Just select star from this table, limit it to 10. That runs some sense. And then when this occurs, there's need for optimization. There's need for payments in foreign currency. So what happens here is, instead of querying the large data, can I study the behavior of our customers over the world and build a model around it so that in the quickest time, my own boss can make his decision instead of waiting for me to query data that will incur cost and waste organization time. Now, they also predict future outcome and prescribe optimal actions. This I call the detective role. Their own is just to detect what's happening. And then the process, they get business question, they analyze the data, they call out insights, and their insights informed business action. Next, the business reality is this: there is a massive demand. No doubt. 234 billion global growth of data analytics as of 2024. Mind you, my data was knowingly limited to 2024 because I'm not sure 2025 statistics have been computed and finished by major data churning bodies around the world. But 2024 is done and posted, so we can trust. Now, look at the growth in that sphere. Who are the people that are majorly employed in Nigeria? Flutterwave, Paystack, Kuda, InterSwitch. And with a 2 years, 0 to 2 years experience, if you get placed in Flutterwave, for example, you get about 350,000 to 500,000 a month. Now, note that the money I mark for this class of people sometimes are not normal budgets, meaning that there is an amount I marked for them majorly. Because if you go operation or customer service, 0 to 3 years experience cannot earn up to this, maybe half majorly. So, the mathematical foundations you need, I know all of this listed on the board. You must have gone through them. If not gone through them, applied statistics model, machine learning. In real sense, It's not as though you have to know all of this. I think my my own challenge while I was in school was to wanting to know everything before I started anything. Please don't make that mistake. Is wanting to know everything before I started anything. But I discovered in the industry, brother, the little you know, if you know how to put it out there very well, there is a need for it, if in the right market. So you don't need to know all of this. As a matter of fact, I'm not talking to the best graduating student. I'm talking to the average person in class. This should be a walk in the park for you because already you know them, you have the background, and the most important thing is knowing when to use what. I will get there. Thank you. Next. Yeah, your career projection in 10 years. SQL, Python, R basic, Power BI, Tableau. I want to think that almost everybody in the department would know how to code. Am I correct? This is a saying no. Some are saying you are correct. Okay. So that's a major prerequisite. But really, every data point is just a collection of vectors and matrices. Hey, if you know vectors and dimensions, every other thing is just normal. So I know people study arts in school and they do data science today. Watching, watching. Can anybody answer me? Watching. That's because they didn't have the foundation like you are, but they knew the coding you may not know. That's the difference. But just imagine you being a brain box behind a model and knowing how to control the code to get there. That's such a big deal. So, in level 2 data scientists, you need 2 to 5 years to get there. You should be wrapping up 700K per month. And level 3, when you're getting to this level, you're almost becoming a manager. And then we should be thinking of 1.5 million for you per month. You already know where you work, fintech, banking and retail, telecommunications, and healthcare. This place, there is no much data. And if they are available, they are siloed. One Excel there, you don't want to get into that environment to see what they do. But to start with, giving them confidence to operate based on the data you are providing, your model has to be reusable and reproducible. An art student cannot do that. Sorry, any art student, please pardon me. An art student cannot reproduce all these kind of models. They can only use them, and that gives you an upper edge in the industry. So, if you would, this slide will be made available for a resource afterwards. If you like to apply that out, this is what you need to do from month 1 to month 12. And I think you should be ready in no time. AI and machine learning, the builder role. Note again, this is how it applies in the industry. Of course, you know, traditional coding entails rules, the code, and the rules. But machine learning says, give me the code, give me the outcome. Label all of them. Then once I learn the rules that map the outcome to the input, give me another set of data. And I'll predict to a certain percentage how much this is the answer. Simple. That's how machine learning comes into being. And every other thing is like that. You chat with ChatGPT, behind it is tokens. And what are tokens? Words converted into figures. And these tokens have context. Context means if I say with me and with me, the with me that is normal is a different token from with me because they were assigned different numbers. So that means even behind the English, you know, there's a mathematics you can champion. Why mathematical foundations of AI/ML? You see, why a data analyst, an student can do data analysis. For people to really so in this particular industry, what do they need? They need real good mathematics. They need real good mathematics. I'll point something across to you. So as of last year, OpenAI, that's the mother company of ChatGPT. They started hiring. They hired good talents, and they were paying them about $500,000 a year. I said, God, what kind of thing is this? Later, Meta came. He said, I want to go the super intelligence way. I want to make machines that use these models to function. I want to make a glasses that I can tell to do everything for me. I can see the future. And when people were not coming on board, do you know what Mark Zuckerberg began to do? He started hiring for about $1 million a year. And I'm saying, are you sure? If you convert that money to naira, that's somebody earning 1.5 billion naira a year. But do you know what those people have in common? PhD mathematics, PhD computer science. Plenty of them. And master's degree with lot of years of experience. That's because they have the understanding and the flexibility to break down the model and rebuild it to fit what they want. So if I were you today, I would go and sit down with ChatGPT again, serving my CV, serving my projects. What do you think? Where do you think I fit? I stick to it over and over. And I finish a project. My most intelligent model is called AI. And I'm happy to tell you that I pay about $20 per month for it. Number one, it makes my work very simple. Where I am, I can send tax to my team members only by telling it. He knows all I have. He knows my board, my tax board. He knows my Slack where I can send message. He knows all of that. So I just, as I was sitting down, I was able to type, assign this tax, this soft tax to this person, tell the person, this is the deadline. Here I'm here. My guy was with me and it responded and gave me the link that the tax have to send to this person. Under normal circumstances, do you know how many hours that would take me? I'll go to the board, create that, do this, and all of that. So that's what an AI ML person can do. You can customize things to your last usable extent. But then the mathematics must be very, very robust. This is your growth potential. Google AI Lagos was established not quite long ago, I think about 2 years ago. They employ machine learning graduates and all of that. You can think of it. There are many things to solve in Nigeria. Only pray you put your strong foot forward and resolve to stay here. AML, ICAIAM career progression, this is the path you can take. That looks like what you can do within your 7th year. You should be rapping in the millions. I'm sorry. We may not be able to afford you $1 million in Nigeria. But then, relatively compared to others, I'll tell you a story. There was a young man. I was leaving my previous role in Smart Cash PSB, a subsidiary of Fintech. And then we were to employ another manager to take up a data analytics role in the company. So we brought on a young boy. I didn't know he was young. We just sent his CV and we're interviewing him. And the only thing I noted about the boy was he was a bit not matured for the role. Not immature to work, but immature for the role. Because as a manager, outside execution, you also need mentoring. But we're not seeing that in him. So I asked him, what? In 5 years time, what would you love to be? The guy said, I would like to serve in a manager's role. And that gave me a nudge that this guy is not yet ready. But when you look at what he has done, my dear friends, he was qualified by all measurement of technicality. How did he start? While in 200 level in school, he had started. He didn't wait like me to know everything before he started anything. He started just as he is. So I can tell you in 1 or 2 years, that guy might manage you when you get to the industry. So let's continue. The real applications, banking, credit scoring, fraud detection, that's so much. In 2023, we lost about 17.7 billion in the industry. Do you know that if you can have a body that solve this problem and you ask for only 10% of this amount, do you know they will pay you? let me ask the question again. If you can solve most of this problem, and you say you only charge 10% of this amount to sell your software, do you know you'll be paid? Yes, of course. Because every company that suffers fraud, they suffer a lot. They suffer reputational damage. And in fact, send money through OPay now, and the money does not deliver in 24 hours. What are you likely to do? Yes, what you track them online, likely to quit and find another Fintech. Yes, that's correct. That's because what they suffered for you to move, or why they respond to you online, is they know the effect of that reputation that their name carries. So if you are solving that kind of problem, excuse me, they can create a unit for you. Yes, this is your journey, foundations, machine learning fundamentals, and there are a plethora of resources. Oh my God, so much resources online. So that what I tell my students is, I think the only thing I owe you is just to tell you what to do. If not, if you don't get it right, there's a lot you can learn online. So with this, you can always know where to go. This guy, Andrew NGML, when I started machine learning and all, I started with this guy. He's very nice. Most of his courses are free and very solid. Fast AI for image generation. Those of you who are interested in image, videos, and all of that, I did. I'm a data analyst under normal circumstances. And nothing supposed to concern me with image generation. But last year, we just started one event. It was, I think, MLR. So we had to generate a series of countdown to the event. My brother, I just went to my AI, told it what to do, and it generated for me pictures, countdown every day, real stories and all. I didn't have to do anything. You know why? Because I only knew what to plug to work. But it sense there's somebody behind that. These models were not like that yesterday. Last year, many of these cannot generate human like people. Now they're generating. That means under normal circumstances, one would think, since this technology is advancing and going faster than I can, how do I meet up with it? How do I meet up with it? No. You should rather be saying, this technology has not yet reached its peak because my own contribution has not yet been added to it. That's where you should see it. This is the financial mathematics aspect. You see, there's a difference between the two now that I mentioned, which is data analysis and data science, different from this. This is the guardian role. They are the ones that protect the insurance company, financial institution, PENCOM, NICOM, CBN. All of them are supposed to have actuaries. But can I bust your bubble? They are less than, there are exactly 28 actuaries in Nigeria. By actuaries, I mean people with sound mathematics mind that knows how to model risk. Certified with either the Canadian or the UK Institute, we only have 28 fellows. And part of that 28, we have 5 associates. And these 28 that I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, plenty of them are old. Yes, if you meet them, you will know they are old. Which means in 5 years' time, plenty of them will be all the same. But do you know what? Because you and I are not raising up at their old age, they are cashing in. The resources me and you were supposed to share. They are cashing in. Because you and I with their own around. I tell you, there's a gold mine there. So, what do? They quantify uncertainty. They protect from catastrophic losses. Do you know that? I can't remember the year now. But while I was in school, because I had to do actuarial science while I was in that was my area of specialization. And they told me one day that somebody bought bad debt. Did you say bad luck? Bad debt. Meaning they almost had written off some debts. And some companies start to they said, give us all this your bad debt. It means you have the right to them from today. When they pay back, we collect. And those people, since their company was crumbling and crashing, you want to give us money for buying it. Even if you buy it there, I will pay. You know what was behind that? sound mathematical modeling of those who have propensity to pay back and who we can track. Exam, did they recover everything? No. But they made a fortune. I didn't say they suffered. No. Those people that bought that risk, I think it was even mortgage risk, that bought the bad debt to recover. They made a fortune, not 5 naira. So it all depends. It all depends where you see it. Now, risk is probability times impact. If I have a risk of 90% of losing my tooth, I will not crack the bone. But if it's only a 10% chance, I will rotate it around the one that I know it can remove. That's what an actuary does, for example. He knows, he helps you make calculated decisions. You take calculated risk, not just and lorry are coming, you just face it with your head. What do they call it? Head-on collision. Who will die first? The cow or you? You know that in Jesus' name. So that's it. It's real. In fact, I can tell you more. Sorry, this is because this was my primary field, and I'm taking up a master's degree anyhow in the University of Lagos just to bypass my number of courses I have to write to come back here. So you are welcome to join me anyways in University of Lagos. So, so what the Institute of Actuaries UK did was to sign a memorandum with the University of Lagos. Under normal circumstances, for you to be certified in Actuarial Science, you need about 7 to 10 years. Yes, that's why I said it's old men that are in profession. But then it doesn't mean. I can tell you, every paper you pass, your company, most companies pay for it. Every paper you pass, you are likely to get promoted. Every paper you pass, even your employer will be scared that you should not go. So you have to do something to make sure your work-life balance is there. That's Actuarial Science for me. That's because even CBN, I don't think they have one. And it's compulsory. They should have. Tell you a very funny story. So my mentor had an actuary. That's that one company came to carry the man. And they carried the man. They promoted him times 4 and made him an executive director. And if you see, you say no, sir, I can't go there. So he left. That's times 4 promotion. That's how it works. That's because the person is sound. He knows what's behind the model. Now, I'm not saying it's an easy thing to do. No. Most of the people that drop out from Actuarial Science are people who had already gotten into insurance. They saw that this Actuarial Science is nice, let them try it, and plenty of them fail. But you with your background in advanced statistics, calculus, and all of that, hey, one thing I've come to discover is that there's nothing, no phenomenon that is happening that cannot be mathematically captured. If not exactly, approximately captured. Not. It will be approximately captured. I don't want to explore what I did in my master's this thing that I thought was not impossible at start. It only took me some years. Normally, sometimes you can think of mathematics and you wanted to run math. But after you achieve your aim, do you know you become normal, but now super normal. So there's nothing wrong with the answer. So why this management matters, we have seen it, disaster everywhere. You know, national emergency management. Do you know that we receive our disaster prompts from US and UK? They'll be telling us, it's likely for it to flood in Benue next week. And the neighbor bought it that way up and down. See, America said it. There's no resident analytics, no database, nothing to show. So it means if they also tell us and they are coming, if they want to use that means to attack Nigeria, they only need to tell us flood is coming tomorrow, and they say all of us to vacate a state. What will happen? Your bombard us with bombs. If I were a mathematics graduate in NEMA, how would I position myself? Think about that. In National Emergency Management, is it authority or agency? Agency. So, of course, you know probability, statistics, financial mathematics, risk theory, regression. And by the way, if you think the mathematics we are using is Gaussian model, what are these other models? With their hyperscale and hyperparameterization is a lot. We use more simple models. Do you know what? The risk appetite for over mathematicalization is not in the industry. Your sense of a Poisson process, if you master it well, is sufficient to manage claims in a company. Waiting time, the arrival rate, the geometric one, so straight and basic and forward. But then, what is the extra you need on it is the domain expertise. Am I going back to Actuarial Science? That's because I've tested data, I've worked on data, I've done AI automation, a lot of that. But do you know, I sat down, I look at it. In the next 5 years, where would I be? Yes, a chief data officer. Must it be data? Why can't I sit down to control the functionality of the company? And during the growth, my mentor called me while I was drafting my listing. Have you considered this? And it became like a native environment for me where I started. And that's why I'm going back there. You can't override domain expertise. But then, what would I say? Start penetrate with your technical knowledge of mathematics. When you get there, pursue an MBA. We put you at par with every other person because he in the organization, when we are doing managerial meeting, when an engineer is talking, you always know the business manager. Because he's always Africa, that's it, just straightforward. He doesn't have, but when a business manager is talking, we did manufacture this person's mouth from abroad. See, just mentioning those words. Sometimes you want to go and recite it yourself and come and see. But those things are necessary when you want to represent a company. That's where the domain kicks in. So, where these managers work, I've mentioned them, career progression path, the skills bridge. Let's discuss this very fastly. I know my time is fast, but please pardon. Can I go? Thank you. So, your first thing, strong mathematical foundation from Fuji, I think is sufficient. I'm so proud to be from the PTC and I will have this valuable mathematics department. I'm so happy. And I'm also open to collaborate with the department. Don't let me talk with this a lot. Anytime I will come and help from doing that. So you need analytical thinking, breaking down complex tasks into manageable bits. How that thing works? You know, when we have a requirement from, say, a CEO or a business department, what we do is we sit down, we have our drawing board, we break down this thing. But we have also made mistakes before. And once we get the requirement, we just go into execution. Do you know what happens? Do you know what may happen? We wait the time, we will not achieve anything, and come back to that drawing board we left behind. So this analytical thinking is, in fact, if you do this, speaking analytically, it becomes just like a walk in the park. And let me say something to you. It's not a universal law, but if what you are doing cannot be explained to a secondary school child, then you have not understood. You have not understood it. There's a great input to that. But once you can explain it to anybody, then you are the master of that thing. Then you'll be able to turn it like the heart of the king that is in the hand of the Lord. Turn it to the right, turn it to the left, and that is what in real deal modeling. Now, quantitative skills, working with numbers, that's the working part for you. If not, you'll not be here. I mean, will you be here? Will you be here? No, you already know. Problem solving rigor. It's not every time you approach the problem they want that results will come. I really believe that with me. It's not every day. This night I'm smiling, there are still problems waiting for me. I think, not solved. in my office. So it's not every time, but you need that mental fortitude that if it does not come at my first iteration, I can shoot at it again and get something out of it. Theoretical mathematics, yes. This now speaks to reproducibility. How many of you will own a company? Your 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 subordinate came. He produced this revenue for last year. He gave you the data. He now came today. He said, let's verify your data. Where is the source? He said, I don't know. How did you get this figure? He said, I saw me together. He said, which figure is it? I got it from the folder. How will you rate that kind of person? I will be a very good Christian. Not to sack that person almost immediately. Why? His results are not reusable, they are not reproducible. That's why you need this theoretical mathematics. So that when I have finished, I can capture and document. One thing that happens in the industry with many sound people is they do not document. They do not have the time to write down what they have done. Do you know what happens? When they don't read that road, it becomes a problem. You start calling them, you start calling them. Me, I will never allow that. You are doing it. In fact, your task is not completed in my team, except it comes with what? The documentation. What you did to get here. But for you, that documentation will be much of this theoretical mathematics. The skills gap, this you will not learn in the university. Me, I can tell you. This, all these ones, you will only touch them. You will not learn much of Python as needed in the industry. So by the way, I started with R because then back in my master's, we're using R, and again, my surname initials is R. So I thought, okay, Rotimi, R programming. Yeah, let's continue now. It only took me 1 year that I saw that Python was overtaking JavaScript, was overtaking Java, and I saw that many data scientists were using it to solve real problems. Nobody advised me, let my CV become a dust and a data. I went for data, I went for Python. So Python, that's number one. Python, R, SQL, but the truth is, it's not very hard to cross over from. No. It's just a mindset. Variables, all of that. Data tools, yes, you may not need PowerBI to present your work to your people. You need that. No, they are more interested in results, trends, results. So you don't need a dashboard, but you will need that in the industry. And then libraries. Of course, many of you know already that most of the machine learning things you're doing, you can do it on your normal computer. Get a computer that will do machine learning on the least speed. Sometimes, as we speak now, you may be needing nothing less than 1.2 million naira. What some people do is to get extra driver and all of that. That's because ML takes a lot of computing power. But places like TensorFlow, Scikit-learn, Google has also made Colab available in such a way that as far as you have a Google account, is anybody here that does not have a Google account? I doubt it. I can help you open one because I will be sure you don't have Android phone. That's right. You don't have that. But then they have storage, plethora of resources that you can tap into. Venture control, yes. Again, this is where the reproducibility comes in again. It was very difficult for me to learn this thing. Actually, I just know. They say I should push. They say I should commit. It took me years after that to now say, okay, this is what this thing means. That's because when you write your code, my dear brother, your head is very hot. And it's blowing hot. All you want to achieve is the result. So the processes are times you might gap something. But then, let's imagine that you wrote a code on Tuesday, it achieved something. You tweaked it on Wednesday, you achieved something. But there's a gap. The things it was achieving on Tuesday, it has left it off. It's achieving something new. You see, version control will show you where you stopped on Tuesday compared to where you stopped on Wednesday, and you're able to find the delta. Business communication skills. You don't want to go ahead without these ones. You don't want to go and be talking what do we say? It converges. That's because there's a very little gap between revenue and profit. So after 5 years, this thing will convert. You are at risk. And your guys say, which convert? What are you converging to? No, that's not it. So you need to learn the art of communication, and you can't finish learning it because at different levels of your career, the way you communicate must also grow in tandem to that. You one day, so I'm reporting to a strategy manager, complaining because do you know why? He's a business person, me I'm a technical person. So when I'm speaking, I sort of factorize many things. And my guy will say, have you finished? Now speak the English I can understand. How many of you want to be going to that trouble? That means now I needed to start learning the registers and the vocab of business. Communication, business context, that speaks to your domain knowledge. Project management, yes. Because you'll be working mostly in a team of people and then different people bringing on different things. You need to understand what a sprint is, what a task board is, what status is, and all of that. Then professional ethics. I pray this integrity in data handling and reporting. Like I said, I do tell my team members, you see, the integrity of my data is directly proportional to my reputation. Meaning, if there's a leakage or there is a pilferage which is stealing data, careless leakage or intentional stealing, and I don't guide against them, then my reputation is gone. Do you know that when you go to another organization, you send a memo to your new organization to ask about you? How did this guy fare? If that's what they write for a data manager, that's all for you. You just go and learn how to teach English in secondary school. Maybe you hope we come from there. So, business and soft skills, technical communication, business acumen, that where to learn free and affordable resources. Kaggle, Nigeria ranks high on Kaggle. You'll be surprised at how Nigerians learn. And see, if you go out there, if you go out there and see how Nigerians learn, don't let them deceive you that Nigerians are known for cyber crime in the lie. Go out there, go and see. You see, nobody will teach you how to learn. When you see your fellow black man reading like this is only what it's like, depends on. So we learn well. Kaggle rates us well. ML data visualization courses, plenty out there. Google data analytics, they have a plethora of courses starting from 0 level to advanced level. Data count, yes. Nigerian communities, these are online Nigerian communities. How many of you know data science, DSN, data science in Nigeria? Oh, that's encouraging. Great. Hope you are members.
Yes, sir.
Great. You have a lot of resources. Plenty of them come from abroad. Plenty of them stay in Nigeria. You are up to pace with the industry. GitHub Student Park. You know, when I graduated, it paid me that I came to put some resources that I could have enjoyed freely while I was a student. Many things. Even ChatGPT, it gives you, if you shall have 4-year account, go to ChatGPT, it will give you excessive discount. Go to Claudia, it will give you excessive discount as a student. Please enjoy it because once you graduate, it's not always easy. Student discount, there are plenty. Any tool you want to use, any technological tool you want to use, first search for student discount before you even pay. You will see that plenty of them cherish learning and they will always give you very minimal amount for you to subscribe. Then that's where GitHub Starter Pack comes. They have many things they have collected together in that pack that is useful for your development journey. Start today, not tomorrow. That's the next resource. The next resource is not tomorrow. If you have seen me mention something, I hope you are Googling it to check. Keep it in your track so that tomorrow you can come back. Don't start tomorrow. Tomorrow is already too late. Somebody has gotten there before you if you don't take that advantage now. Yeah, building your career, the Nigerian reality, growing tech ecosystem, fintech boom, lower cost of living versus salary. Do you know that? I prefer to do remote job in Nigeria than to travel abroad. Is my head correct? Is my head correct like that? It's correct though. A bottle of Coke in Germany, 1.99. That's almost 3,000 naira.
Mas issue where?
Yeah, but in Nigeria, But in Nigeria, how much is the bottle of Coke? 500. Do you get the difference? Do you get the difference? In Germany, you pay almost 40 something% as tax for your class, almost for plus insurance, accommodation, and everything. So what I used to do then, I just slash my salary by 50%. What comes home in the end is 50% again. But if I'm working abroad, I mean, even to know with tax, I can't do anything to me. Still better than people are doing. So what am I saying? Here, that's why Nigeria is really delaying. That's where we should be. I'm not saying you should not go abroad. After collect that one, you can travel abroad. Buy this thing, dash people there, come back, back to work, dash your neighbors. They are gonna come back. Faster career progression, yes. In the tech world, it's very fast. Where you cover in 5 years, eh? Operations, some operations of some department. For example, an insurance company, do you know that their budget for the actuaries is different from every other department of the organization? Salary budget. They call them core. The budget for data analysts too is somewhat different from the rest of the organization, especially if in tech. So you see, what do you need to become a manager in data analytics? I think with 5 years, after 5 years, I became a manager. And do operations and become a manager after 5 years. When you see white-bearded men and knock you, where did you come? You think you know everything, you will spoil your career in this organization. You're ready to go. I'm saying the trajectory is faster. Am I saying we remain like that forever? No, if you waste your time, if time is wasted, it may change. But for now, in the foreseeable 10, 20 years, I think it may remain like this for the mathematics expert. Not going to. Okay. So I think with this, okay, thank you. Where to work already, I mentioned this, insurance. ICAMMDA is a very nice place. If you come with your certificate tomorrow, I'm telling you, the man I came to represent, if you get one paper in Actuarial Science, the man I came to represent, he will hire you almost immediately. He will hire you almost immediately. If you get just one paper out of the 10, and actually immediately you will almost get a job. So telcos, they need you to. So what do? 0 to 3, foundation building, portfolio, and network. This is very important, my dear friends. Then 6 to 9. Sometimes I've also suffered before that built in silos. Very interesting projects, but nobody was saying them. Nobody was saying them. But you know what? Yeah, it's not moving again, but I think I'm very close to the end. So, friends, if I may round up, and this week, not next month, sign up for PowerBI, learn on ongoing. In fact, you can start with practice. Maybe most of you have Android phones, Abi. What I was doing then was that there's no day that goes that I don't review news in data analytics. It's not that I practice everything there, but it keeps me abreast of an extincting skills. Let me tell you one fact. The skills I learned 3 years ago, they're almost dying now. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're almost done now. The Python, whatever. I've created dashboard before. I mean, we create dashboards that I don't code. I just need the right information to give my AI. But because it's the domain knowledge, I know when AI is going wrong. I'm not doing what I wanted to do. Really bad. Okay, be too intelligent for your master. Come back home. And then we start again. So now, coding is no more a big deal. But why am I insisting you must learn coding? It is only then you can tell it, don't go bonkers. Come back here. This is what I want you to do. Control. That domain knowledge. So that your subordinates in the office, they also don't pack technical debt. They build it on you. It will work today, but come to 2 months' time, it will become shouted and stuff. That's why you need that call. I'm not saying you will code up. No, I'm not even expecting you to. If anything, if I grab a project now, these are our approach it. If I grab a project on say forecasting house prices, which is one of the commonest data sets in our company, you know what I will do? I'll not go the route of coding again. I'll see how I can apply AI to it. That can answer all the questions, then build it on the existing dashboards that people have built. It's easy for my boss to approve that we should get away from traditional Power BI, Tableau, and all of that in my organization. When I told him, hey, we can design our own dashboards from the scratch. And he says, why are you moving away from those? I said, I can't plug AI to those guys as much as I want them. And so every dashboard, in case you are lazy, you don't want to be clicking and checking. Just text your question to the AI model at the side of the dashboard. It will give you your answer. It makes it convenience. It's convenient. So if we want our budget, they didn't even price our budget last year. They just approve it. I pray it happens to me in Jesus' name. Amen. So okay, the future, where all this is going. Yeah. So AI is becoming mainstream. That's what I started talking about. For me, I will learn data analysis as AI assisted data analytics. AI automation assisted data analytics. So before I used to do cleaning data, 1 month you have not finished. You start cleaning this U, they will write it in Russian U. Another F, they will write it in Persian Q. All of that, you have to be removing it. And everything you remove from a data point, if valid, then you have lost something of a gain of insight. So you have to be very, but today, my dear friends, there's AI by design. At least we do 50% of the job, and I'll do the remaining 50% supervision. So AI is becoming mentioned, so you can't live without AI. Don't deceive yourself that it's artificial. Artificial created by man. So that's part of your, if you've done anything online before, you contributed to the data they use in training it. If you have ever had any Twitter accounts before, for example, Rock has used your tweets, they are used it to train his AI. So it's not something artificial apart from you. It's part of your brain that is there. So use it to your best of advantages. Then Nigeria data explosion. Yes, we are very at that stage where data is so low in Nigeria. But while you are helping us model data and we can trust it, there's also the need to make sure that scalable data is made available. That's where you come in again. AI governance and ethics, like I told you, AI can go bonkers. They can go ways you don't want them to go. Oh, something happened. I think Deloitte did a consultation for a company. I think it's in Sweden. It was mainline last year. So what they did, there is a big 5 or big 4. Big 4, pardon. What they did was they used AI to generate part of the report. So the people that received it, they tested it, they checked, they saw that even some of those recommendations were wrong, meaning that they left here to do many things and gave it too much autonomy, much authority, not being able to manage it. That's where we come to AI governance and what? And ethics. Now, the common thread, as I've been talking since, strong mathematical foundations, practical skills and tools, assistance in your learnings and actions. Mathematics with purpose, just to wrap up, already you have healthcare, agriculture, disaster prevention, financial inclusion. Yes, there are many people in the villages, they don't still use OPay. It means they are financially excluded. How do we develop algorithms that catch them? That person that is financially excluded, how do you do credit rating and scoring for them? You don't even have anything financial. How do you do that? But I know you know maths, but something can happen. Do we believe together? Yes. The choice is yours. Some may not. The only difference, actions versus intention, both same presentation, both have same opportunities. Which will you be in? Don't forget, start before you are ready, before you finish. So, in case you also need some mentorship, I train data analysts in a volunteering capacity at Pora Academy. I take and even we are piloting something by integrating AI automation this year for 3 months, and let's see what works. But I can assure you, Port 7 is going to start, I think, by February 22nd. If you're also interested, I will share the flyer with the organizers so that you can register. They also take I take a 1-year track. I don't believe you can learn it in 6 months. Have I said 6 months here today? No, you can't learn it in 6 months. You're not learning English. So you can't be learning in 6 months. 1 year minimum. So I teach for that. Your math, a foundational coach. Nobody can take that away. And you are not alone in this. Join the community, join us. If I don't have any question, or while you ask a question, this is the flyer for Cora. Thank you so much for your time.